Welcome back to a Clan a Day podcast brought to you by bagtownclans.com. I'm your host, Colin MacDonald. Today we're diving into the history of Clan Comyn, also known as Clan Cumming, a clan with a legacy of power, influence and fierce loyalty that once made them the most formidable family in 13th century Scotland. The Comyns were one of the few clans to challenge the legendary Robert the Bruce, a decision that ultimately led to their decline. But their story, rich in heroism and tragedy, lives on. The origins of the Comyns date back to Norman England. They trace their lineage to Richard Comyn, a Norman noble who accompanied King David I of Scotland northward. Richard's nephew, William de Comyn, became a powerful figure in Scotland, serving as Chancellor and marrying Marjorie, the Countess of Buchan. Through her, William gained the Earldom of Buchan, solidifying Comyn influence. By the late 13th century, Clan Comyn was among the most powerful families in Scotland, with vast estates, key political roles, and strategic marriages to the country's leading families. Clan Comyn's stronghold was in Badenoch, where they controlled the lordship of Lochaber and had castles across Scotland from Lochindob and Inverlochy in the north to Kirkintilloch in the south. The Comyns were deeply connected to the Scottish throne, with blood ties tracing back to King Donald III. Their influence was felt across the land, not only through the earldoms of Buchan, Menteith and Atholl, but also through 32 Comyn knights who controlled extensive territories. One of the most renowned members of the clan was John the Red Comyn, Lord of Badenoch. As a key figure in the Wars of Scottish Independence, John initially supported King John Balliol's bid for the Scottish crown and fought against England's King Edward I. Following the death of Alexander III and the disastrous demise of the Maid of Norway, John Comyn became one of the guardians of Scotland. As cousin to Balliol, he possessed a legitimate claim to the throne, and his rivalry with Robert the Bruce was bitter and deadly. In 1306, this rivalry turned lethal when Bruce, fearing Comyn's claim to the crown, fatally stabbed him at the altar of Greyfriars Church in Dumfries. This act ignited a civil war and altered Scotland's fate forever. The Comyns were deeply entrenched in Scottish politics and had long enjoyed royal favour, but Bruce's ascendancy shifted their fortunes. With the Comyns' power severely weakened, Bruce confiscated their lands and distributed them to his supporters. Their castles were seized and their titles and influence were all but erased. Despite this, Comyn loyalists continued to resist Bruce's reign, culminating in their defeat at the Battle of Bannockburn in 1314, which crushed any remaining hopes of Comyn restoration. After their fall from power, Clan Comyn re-established itself in other ways. The Cummings of Altyre became the primary branch, with the family name transitioning over time to Cumming. By the 15th century, the clan had become a Highland clan and turned to more localised conflicts with neighbouring clans like the Mackintoshes and Macphersons. These feuds, often over land disputes and broken alliances, were fierce and brutal, with legendary tales of betrayal and bloody revenge. One such feud led to the infamous massacre at Rake Castle, where the Comyns attempted to ambush the Mackintoshes during a peace feast, only for the plot to backfire when the Mackintoshes struck first. Despite the setbacks and the violent clan feuds, the Comyns remained significant. Their descendants, the Cummings of Altyre, maintained the clan's legacy and, by the 18th century, were recognised as the clan chiefs. The current family seat is Altyre House in Moray, where the Comings of Altyre continue to represent the clan today. One notable member, Sir Alexander Penrose Gordon Cumming, served as Chief of Clan Cumming, as well as a distinguished officer, conservationist and sportsman, symbolising the clan's resilience and adaptability. The common influence on Scotland extended beyond battles and feuds. They were patrons of arts and culture, leaving a lasting mark on Scottish architecture and religion. In Glasgow, William Comyn and his wife are credited with the initial construction of Glasgow Cathedral. In the cathedral's lower church, visitors can still see early stone carvings depicting the common lord and his lady, considered to be some of the oldest portraits of historic figures in Scotland. Today, Clan Cumming is celebrated by the Clan Cumming Society, which preserves its rich history and fosters connections among descendants worldwide. The clan's plant badge is the Cummin plant and their war cry, and Cuimeanach resounds in the memories of the Scottish Highlands. They're also represented by their tartan and motto, Courage, a fitting reminder of the spirit that defined this once powerful clan. Thank you for joining us on A Clan a Day podcast for the story of Clan Comyn. Their legacy, shaped by ambition, loyalty, and resilience, continues to inspire. Be sure to join us tomorrow for another episode. I'm Colin MacDonald, and as always, go NRE and both are elite.